Pierre Gasly.
Pierre Gasly brilliantly wins in Budapest.
Hamilton fights Gasly to the line. Gasly comes home to take second
One of the
place.
biggest up-and-coming risers at the time, but also one of the more stuck drivers at the moment. And that's what we're going to be discussing today. So let's take a quick look back on Gasly's career in F1 and talk about if there's anything left in F1 for Gasly, because it's not looking amazing at the moment. So just a quick rundown, Gasly replaced Kvyat for the rest of the 2017 season after his crash in Singapore, and well, a not so flattering season, may I say so myself, and then was given a full-time drive for the 2018 season, which he did really well with a best finish of 4th place at the Bahrain Grand Prix. And since Ricciardo was leaving for Renault at the end of 2018, Red Bull promoted him to the senior team, and he had a lot of expectation going to the season, and rightly so, because he was performing really good beforehand. But then, oh no, crashing into the back of the guy who will eventually replace you and getting blocked by Carlos Sainz for the entirety of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and he was rightfully dropped to Toro Rosso mid-season. And I do think this is the right decision, contrary to what most people would say, because I think Albon in the second half did a lot better than what Gasly did in the first half. But Gasly did get the last laugh, thank you Lewis Hamilton, and for 2020, man's got his first win, and nearly finished in the top 10 with that car, while Kvyat was left battling Sebastian Vettel. And in 2021, he had his best season to date, scoring 110 points, carrying Toro Rosso in the Constructors' Championship, and Yuki Tsunoda had 32 points only. And it was his rookie season, but he was crashing quite a fair bit. And 2022 was very mid for both AlphaTauri drivers. Not saying they were particularly bad, but they barely had any pace to show what they can do behind the wheel. Which is why around the Japanese Grand Prix, Pierre Gasly was announced that he was going to drive for Alpine in the 2023 F1 season alongside lifelong enemy Esteban Ocon. Midway point of the video, be sure to subscribe. We're trying to hit 10,000 by August. I know the initial goal was June, but I moved it back 2 months because none of the videos have been doing good. Let's try to reach 300 on Instagram. And it was a great decision because he's finally getting his own team, because in Red Bull, as long as your name is not Max Verstappen, that team is not yours. And he's also driving under a French manufacturer with a French teammate. So it was brilliant for marketing. But that first season, although they both got podiums, was a big step down from 2022. Whilst their competition in McLaren and Aston Martin got a lot better, they remained stagnant and mid, finishing with 120 points, 92 points ahead of Williams, but 160 behind Aston Martin. And the following season in 2024, things did not get better. They in fact got worse. But their season was salvaged by a late season upgrade, and they were even able to get a double podium in the Brazilian Grand Prix. So with their late season resurgence and Gasly having insane qualifying performances like Las Vegas and Abu Dhabi, you'd expect them to improve on this and build off of this for the 2025 season. But nope, they're arguably the worst car on the grid right now. And that lands on today's video subject, what's next for Pierre Gasly in F1? So first, can he get picked up by a top team? Well, he would be a good option. Realistically, the answer is no. If Lando Norris or Oscar Piastri were to leave McLaren, they have a driver in F2 named Alex Dunn waiting for the seat. I highly doubt he would want to go back to the Red Bull family, although thinking about it now, they're having a total identity rebrand with Lauren Mekies coming in and Christian Horner out. A shift of power in Red Bull, this could seem viable, but I still don't see that happening. Well, how about Ferrari? Well, it's very obvious that Charles Leclerc is pulling off a Damon Lillard, and if and when Lewis Hamilton retires, it's also very obviously that it's Oliver Behrman who's going to replace him in that seat. And at Mercedes, Russell and Antonelli are pretty much locks for the future, or Verstappen and Antonelli are locks for the future, and that leaves him with no other option left, other than Alpine. Maybe Aston Martin would like to have a driver of his caliber when Alonso retires, but they also have a junior named Jack Crawford waiting at the door, and it's very obvious that Lance Stroll's F1 career depends on when his dad or when he wants to retire himself. So, it's looking bleak at the moment. So if Gasly wants any sort of success late into his F1 career, it's really just dependent on how good Alpine can be. But each time it looks like it's starting to improve for Alpine, they just completely fall right back down to earth. Remember, 2020, great season. 2021, slightly worse, but still nothing to really worry about. 2022. Again, slightly worse, didn't get a podium this time, but like nothing to completely worry about. It's also the start of a regulation cycle. 2023, oh no, 2024, what on earth is going on in the operations of this team? I think the same can also be said for someone like Esteban Ocon. I think Gasly and Ocon are pretty much the same caliber of driver. We saw them when they were teammates at Alpine. They were pretty much matching each other week in and week out. They'll have the odd crash here or there maybe, but they were pretty much, Alpine had two of the same driver from 2023 to 2024. Don't tell me about Ocon's performances in late 2024. They were sabotaging that man. He was leaving for Haas. There was no point for them to continue supporting him. I mean, they dropped him before Abu Dhabi with Jack Doohan. But this whole Gasly thing is reminding me of another driver who was stuck in a similar situation not so long ago. Nico Hülkenberg. If you remember, towards the end of 2019, Ricciardo was easily beating Hülkenberg in his first season with Renault. And of course, at the time, Hülkenberg still didn't have a podium, and he bottled a clear opportunity at a podium at the German Grand Prix. And there was a certain Esteban Ocon who was left on the sidelines, who very much deserved a seat. Ocon was really good in 2018. A very solid driver under the Mercedes driver development program, and it was pretty much Toto who got him that seat in Renault. Let's be real here. And Hülkenberg was ousted from F1. But Perez did get COVID, which meant Hülkenberg was back for the British Grand Prix, the two British Grand Prix. And in one of them, he even managed to qualify P3. But he wasn't able to convert that to a podium, well, mainly because since that pink Mercedes was pretty much a copy of the actual Mercedes, the tire wear in 2020 was so bad under hot temperatures, and he fell down to, I think it was P8. Then at the Eiffel Grand Prix, Stroll gets COVID, Hülkenberg swoops in last minute, makes it from P20 to P8. So it was very obvious that Hülkenberg is still no one to mess around with. He was still a solid driver, and any team would like to have him on board. So he was picked up by Haas for the 2023 season. And I think this is similar to Gasly's situation in the sense that he's a driver which any midfield team would love to have and a top team would like to have as a second option. But he's just not good enough to lead the team, but he's also too good for the second seat. And if you're fighting for a championship, especially how close the grid is nowadays, you really don't want your number 2 driver to be clashing with your number 1 driver. So for the rest of Gasly's career in F1, it's really just dependent on how Alpine can develop or what the vision is. The problem is I don't see any vision in this team. The way they were managing Ocon towards the end of last year, the way Doohan was quite literally set up for failure. Sure, it looks like Gasly is their golden boy, the number 1 for years to come, but who knows what they could do to him. They could potentially screw him over as well. I wouldn't put it past Flavio Briatore. I would honestly have more hope in Pierre Gasly's future if they kept Oliver Oaks, but I don't know about the Dubai fraud case. I really hope that isn't true. I think Oliver Oaks was doing a good job, and Flavio comes in and blows the entire thing up. Really wanted to rush in Colapinto, and then was frothing at the mouth at the British Grand Prix. Now you might be asking, why am I not saying the same things about a certain Esteban Ocon who seems to be in a similar position? But that's because I do see the vision in Haas, because Ai Akamatsu is a proven leader. We saw that over the course of last year, but you can never trust Alpine, you can never trust Team Enstone, because they'll just blow it up anyways. They needed a leader for so long, they finally got Otmar Safnauer, who was doing a brilliant job, and they treated him like he was garbage. So I don't really know what's next for Gasly's future in F1, because we know how much of a dumpster fire Team Enstone is. And for the driver he is, I really don't think he deserves the situation, but we'll see how it goes in the future. But guys, thanks for watching today's video. It was just a quick one. Let me know what you think about Gasly's future in F1. Do you think it's as bleak as I'm making it out to be, or do you think he has any hope? Williams seemed to be a good outfit, but again, they're kind of locked with Carlos and Alex. So yeah, thanks for watching and goodbye.